Howdy, you're listening to Nobles in the Pinhead.
Yeah. Yo, what up? Welcome back, fantasy players, hustlers, and grinders. The season is over, but we are back, and I know we've been absent, but we did a recount, Pinhead, and guess what?
What's that?
We are America's favorite podcast.
I thought we lost.
Nope.
We won.
Yeah.
As it turns out.
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, that seems par for the course.
The people
All
have
right.
spoken.
Thank you, people.
Oh, man. If you don't know, now you know. I'm your host, Reggie Nobles.
A.K.A. the Bill Russell to my Bob Cousy.
Oh, and with me as always is my friend, your favorite, the Pinhead, a.k.a. Man, I missed you, brother.
Yeah, man, I missed you too, man. I heard you had some follies there a couple weeks ago with the virus.
Yeah, I got the vid.
Ooh.
Yeah, I got the vid, man. Hey, but we'll focus on that in a second, as today we're still going to do what we do best, which is...
Serving it up hot.
That's right, boys and girls, man. Yeah, as Pinhead mentioned, man, I was down and out, man. I caught it, Pin. I was reckless. Everybody asked me, how'd you get it? And for a moment, I was like, I don't know. I hadn't done anything different. But then when I reflected, I did a lot different. So my oldest daughter, she turned 22 on the 8th. And she was supposed to come up. So that night before she was going to come up, I went out and I grabbed like some wine, some beer, some liquor, whatever. And I stopped at Kernersville's newest brew house, grocery store, the Folly. You know what I'm talking about?
I've seen it downtown.
Oh, great place. Check it out. It's always packed. COVID ready. So I go in there and I seen cats I ain't seen in years. Right? 8:30, dude, is when I got there. 8:30. And it was balls to walls. And anyway, I go in and I was going to grab like a sixer and some wine and get up out of there. And I talked to the bartender, friend I knew. So I ended up hanging out for 30 minutes. No mask. Mm-hmm. Next night, my kid didn't end up coming. So I went out with this chick I was seeing. We went to another spot. Again, very similar atmosphere. Like, once you walk through the door, it's like, check your mask at the door, right?
Right.
Like, COVID stops there.
Yeah, it's odd.
Right. So I went in and, like, you know me, man, I like to have a good time. So we did what we did. Well, night 3. My kid pops up out of the blue. I'm actually not feeling great because the last 2 nights I have been drinking.
Right.
I'm 42.
Right.
She's 22. I'm 42.
Right.
Like, I can't do this like 3 nights in a row. But third night, luck has it. She knocks on the door. She comes in. She's like, "Hey, Dad." I'm like, "Great." So, we smoke some reefer and we go eat Mexican. And, nothing against my brothers from the South. They don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
They just trying to feed their families. Respect. Day 4, we go to another place. Day 5 or 4.5, she leaves. Day 5, I don't feel great. Day 6, text positive.
Yeah.
So I was just really reckless.
What
man.
was the worst thing that you suffered through?
Man, it was fatigue.
Yeah.
It was fatigue, man. I had this day where I slept 17 consecutive hours, and I woke up and I felt like I've never been so tired in my life.
Still. Yeah. Yeah, man. I had mono as a senior in high school, and that was basically the big symptom of that. It's just you just can't do anything. You can do something for about 5 minutes, and then you're just like beat. Just absolutely beat down. I know, it was weird. My girlfriend didn't get it. Strange. Did the girl you went out with? Is she feeling okay?
So luckily, man, everyone I went out with had symptoms, but none of them tested positive. Whoa. And I think it was something related with like mental. Like, I got COVID, and the next thing you know, you're like, oh, my throat's hurting.
Yeah,
like,
you wished it into reality.
Right, like I hung out with Chris the night before. My buddy Chris, man. Chris actually just lost his father, man. They just laid him to rest Tuesday, man. So rest in peace, Mr. Collins, Ronnie Collins, man.
That's tough.
Yeah, he's dealing with it, but we'd hung out the night before, and again, I was feeling weird, but I wasn't feeling sick. And next day it hit me, so I scheduled to get my test. And when I tested positive, my first priority was my child, right? The one that lives with me. Like, I got to get her tested.
Right.
Right? And if she's positive, great, then we'll suffer together. If she's negative, I need to get her the fuck out of here.
Right.
So that was my motive. And I did that. And so I shot everybody a text who I've been hanging out with. And his response was, "Oh, fuck." So the next morning he called me at like 8 o'clock. But again, I was fatigued. I set in. I didn't get up that day around until like 3:30, 4 o'clock.
Right.
And I called him back and he didn't answer. So we played phone tag for a couple of days. When I finally talked to him, he was like, "Dude, I was bugging out, man. Why you didn't answer the phone?" I was like, "I don't know. Had the fucking COVID."
Right. Yeah. Right.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I don't mean it like that. Like, I hate that you were hanging on the fucking string.
Right.
Like, thinking like I may or may not have it. But like, it's your nose swab away for finding out if you do or you don't.
Yeah, that's true, man. Yeah, it seems like they're starting to pump out a few thousands tests a day. I mean, vaccines a day now, too.
Yeah.
Which got to be a positive thing.
Well, I guess it is, man. I guess the crazy thing about it, man, is the flack that teachers have been getting. Have you seen this?
Yeah.
This national thing. Teachers are taking it on the chin because they have been bumped up in the line of priority. And I get both arguments. However, I have children, so I'm a side for the children. But I mean, for the teachers, because like, I need my kid to get out the fucking house.
Right.
I can't afford to keep my kid here. If you're a senior, you're on a fixed income. I'm not making light of the situation, but you can control your environment.
Right.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I get it. You guys are the biggest voting class, but like, yo, really?
Yeah. I guess it's just most susceptible. I don't know. It's crazy, man. There's people. I saw a guy the other day say that instead of getting a vaccine that could potentially have a microchip in it to trace me around, so why don't we figure out a way to expose people to small amounts of the virus a little at a time until we build immunity?
Well, that's what I was planning for.
Well, and I thought, this guy, he fucked around and invented a vaccine. That's exactly what a vaccine is. Way to go. He reverse engineered himself right into the same spot that he was at. That's what a vaccine is.
Yeah.
So
do you think the government is really trying to?
No.
Yeah.
No, I don't believe any of that QAnon stuff, man. Yeah. It's just so bizarre. How could you, Yeah. But I think that people who went down that rabbit hole, there's thousands of things, different, what they call facts disseminated, and you don't have to believe them all. But if you just read them all, you'll think, well, there's just too many for none of them to be true.
Right.
And then that starts to set in, even though very possibly none of them are true. I'm pretty sure that John F. Kennedy Jr. wasn't at Trump rallies. I'm pretty sure that's not how he was spending his time. He's dead, we're pretty sure that. But once you can believe that, then, you can believe about whatever. Yeah. So, it's just, I don't know, man. I don't really buy into any of that. It just seems too ridiculous.
Man, it's just been strange times, man. And you guys that continue to download, share, listen, whatever, we greatly appreciate. We know we ain't been consistent, but what the fuck else have? So
yeah, really, man.
Don't hold us to that higher standard.
No, really, man.
It's been damn near. I don't want to say impossible because we could have made it happen, but it's just been so challenging. With my business, your business, my life, your life, my family, your family. There's just so many variables and interchanging things that, like, the things that we took for granted, like free time.
Yeah.
Aren't really what, like, you know what I'm saying?
It's totally different now. And last week there wasn't any football to talk about, and you were recovering from the COVID. So we had to take a little time off, but it's good to be back talking.
I feel like, though, I read somewhere that if you sleep with someone who had the COVID, like, you are susceptible, like you're like, I don't know, your chances of getting it like drop down to like a low percentage, like 0.02. So I'm just throwing this out there because like I am in a non-committed relationship at this point, and I got a whole lot of penis, and I had the COVID.
So like it's a plus.
Right, I got the cure.
I got it, man.
I got the cure.
I got it. Pretty sure cash is the cure for this, much like the HIV.
Just like the HIV.
Yeah.
It's really funny, man. I mean, like, not to try to change the subject, but it's really funny that, like, HIV, it hit the world and it, like, shook the nation, man, and it did all this damage, then it just kind of went away. And now, like, why I think that's funny is because, like, the AIDS epidemic hit, in, like, the 80s?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
And here we're in 2021, 40 years later. And, like, now it's manageable. You can live your life with AIDS, right?
Yeah.
However, another virus comes out actually, I guess it hit the States around, like, November of 19, right?
Yeah.
And then, like, we saw our first case around December, and then, like, it picked up, and then by March, it shut the fuck down. But now there's a vaccine.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I have no faith in any medical, like, pharmaceutical or anybody. Like, because I know you guys have just been killing, like, if I feel that you guys have just been killing people because the cure, I mean, there's no money in the cure. Right? Like,
right.
Right. Like, but when we needed it, it was a global pandemic.
Right. Well, those companies, man, Moderna and Pfizer, those are, those companies that already have a patent on their vaccine. They could easily open that up and give that patent away to there's tons and tons of drug manufacturing companies, right. And they could make it all, and we could be done in a moment. But they have to profit.
Ain't no money in there.
Right. They have to profit from it, and so. While they're profiting, people will continue to die.
Boy, capitalism is a motherfucker. Well, let's talk about something more positive, man. Let's switch it, man. Let's talk about fantasy football. It's over.
Yeah, man. Thankfully,
fantasy football is over.
Yeah, man. I limped through there toward the end. Our league, man. We really had a dominant team, didn't we?
Yeah.
I mean, they're just better than everybody else.
They were good.
Yeah, awful good,
and
especially
really
to be head and shoulders above everybody else without Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, no, they were really
That's
good.
a solid team.
And one thing that the villains did was they started right.
Yeah.
There were some weeks that, because I beat them. I went 1-1 with them this year. He ain't lose many games, but I got him one time. But there were many weeks that, without Christian McCaffrey, without Alvin Kamara, because Kamara was banged up at some points, without two of his best studs in the running back position, he just coached it right.
Yeah. Yeah,
so
he usually makes good decisions, man.
But Joe Blevins won the BDFL.
Did he?
Yeah, man. I bumped into Joe Blevins, man, last week. I was hoping to get him on the show, and I tried to call him a couple times, man. I wasn't able to do it.
He's hard to reach, man.
Yeah, well, sometimes, And he had, statistically, one of the worst teams in the league.
It's all right, man, if it breaks your way.
But he did the damn thing.
Yeah, there you
go. It was good for him. So, man.
Has he won before?
Yeah, about 17 years ago.
All right.
Yeah. So, the longest gap to reclaim is his right now. Unless I win it again. I've been to the playoffs. I've been to the championship 5 times in that league. I'm 1-4. I won the inaugural year. And, guys always try to give me shit. But what I quickly remind them is that I'll always be a trivia question. You'll just be a winner.
That's right. You got me immortality.
All right, who's the first winner ever?
Yeah.
Well, your boy.
Yeah, in our league, we had back-to-back Farrells kick it off. My dad won the first one, and I got the second one. So we lobbied for it to be called the Farrell Cup. Nobody really liked that.
Well, it was a year, though, man, that, despite everything, man, it was a great football year. I talked to some people, man, just in passing, and asked me, I actually won a sizable amount this year, man, betting games. I supplemented my income this year doing some gambling. And it worked out for me pretty well, actually. But people ask me, what did you think of football? Oh, it wasn't the same, And I actually thought, with all things considered, it's actually a great fucking season.
Yeah, they put out a pretty good product this year.
Really good product.
I'm looking forward to maybe seeing my team improve. One of the big things for me would be if Deshaun Watson could weasel his way out of Houston. It looks like that's going to happen.
It's got to happen.
Yeah.
It's got to happen.
I think he's better off anywhere.
Well, I mean, the more and more reports that come through, it's not so much even about him. Now it's about the team. The team is supporting him on this move.
Right.
The team is saying, you're the voice of reason.
Right.
You know what I mean? Now you got the team behind him. Listen, you can keep a disgruntled employee, or you can get a king's ransom for him, which you got a 25-year-old generational talent. He doesn't want to be there.
Yeah. And rightly so. I mean, they've done nothing to help him.
They've done nothing. The shit that they did last year, we talked about getting rid of Nuke.
Right.
I mean, like, how do you get rid of him and not the coach? The coach had done nothing positive,
right,
in our opinion, to keep his job. But you let a comment that the coach made separate one of the best 1-2 punches in all of football.
Yeah, it was an awful move.
That was horrible.
I'll tell you who I think should have vast interest in
the Carolina
Watson.
Football Panthers.
Well, yeah. He's a massive upgrade over Bridgewater. But the team I was thinking of was the 49ers. I mean, because now you're looking at you got Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray, and now Stafford in your division. Ooh.
Well, yeah, you're going to have quarterback play.
You're going to have to.
You have
and Watson would fit right in, I would think.
Yeah, I mean, I would think for him, because he has a no trade clause, I wouldn't think that would be a favorable destination for me. Only because of what you just said. You got a Kyler Murray, a Stafford, and a freaking Russell Wilson that you're gonna have to play those guys twice a year. Yeah, you know what I mean? And to sweep those guys. I mean, one quarterback out of that foursome might sweep.
Yeah,
but it's
kind of
going to be
unlikely.
a coin toss.
Yeah.
It's going to be a coin toss. I mean, we saw things that came into play this year that we never really thought about, man. Like, Seattle started off as a head buster. But what was Seattle's best freaking defense was their home field advantage. Not having that, we didn't really think about how that was going to impact games. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
And, honestly, Russell Wilson cooled off a lot from the way he started. I mean, the way he started was some record-breaking. He was going to be the best year anybody's ever had, and it cooled off like you kind of thought it might,
Right, but, and football is a game of momentum, right? So, you can have a couple bad weeks where your quarterback goes out and still performs, because he was still performing. He was still having games where he's on up 283 and 2 touchdowns. Fantasy relevant. 303 touchdown fantasy, but losing games.
Right. I mean, he led the league in pass yards.
Right. But, you wasn't winning those important games, and a lot of those were home. Going into the playoffs, Russell Wilson had never lost at home.
Right.
And he did this year.
Yeah.
And the 12th man wasn't there. So, it was a different football season, but I'm glad we got through it. And, we're on our way to the Super Bowl, which I think will be an interesting game. But I guess before we get into the Super Bowl, let's dive into a subject that's going to be a little sore for probably many of our listeners.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the 11-6 Tar Heels and 9-7,
something like that.
Duke Blue Devils.
Yeah, we play each other Saturday.
Not a game that you normally think about. Normally it's a little excitement, right?
Yeah, this one is just kind of like yikes. I think Carolina's bigs are considerably better than Duke's, but I don't know, and neither one of them have guards that are really spectacular.
Neither one of them scored at an efficient level.
No, they don't.
Duke put up 70 points in a loss against Miami, but it wasn't a feel good 70, right?
No, they played. It was the dumbest I've ever seen a Duke team play. They just played dumb. Wendell Moore is completely and utterly lost on defensive team concept. There was one play where the kid Wong, the little point guard from Miami, he was driving on DJ Stewart, and he got his shoulder around him, and he continued to go, and Stewart was kind of on his back, and Hurt came over to help. Well, at that point, Wong was in trouble. He had two guys. He picked up the ball, and then you look, and Wendell Moore was guarding the guy out at the three-point line. And he turns his head and just stares at Wong and loses his man totally. So his man just took about 4 steps to the side and then was wide open for the pass to free Wong from the trouble he was in. And it's like, man, to me, I'd learned it early on playing basketball. Like, as soon as the guy with the ball is in trouble, face guard your man. Well, don't you got to know where he's at. And I rewound that play 4 times, and he never turned his head. And it's just like, man, that's bonehead.
But we can attribute that solely to, again, 2020, right? Because, when college basketball made that shift to where it was one and done, like, you have to be a fool not to recruit those top players, right?
Right.
Like, if you're saying that my team is what it is because we don't go after the 1-and-1, well, then the one and done guys, then you need to fire your head coach. You need to fire your head AD.
I've heard people talking about, look at it now. You got clearly the 2 best teams in the country are Gonzaga and Baylor. Right? They, they're definitely the best. They are definitely not one and done schools. They cultivate their players. But tell me how many championships they got.
Right. Right.
Even since the one and done era started.
Right. No one's coaching for the freaking Holocaust. Oh, no, I shouldn't have. That's a bad analogy. Bad analogy. Sorry. No one's for the apocalypse.
Right.
Right? No one's really like coaching like, well, we're just going to go out and get a bunch of 2s and 3s.
Right.
And hope
we
pandemic hits.
Right.
And then, we'll have a team.
We'll develop.
And they'll be scattered because they never get to practice together.
Right.
Right. But that's what we're seeing, man.
Yeah, it's
the
clear.
ACC looks completely different.
Right now, I saw a mock draft just today, and right now in the first 2 rounds, first 60 picks in the NBA draft, this publication that I was reading projected 8 conference players. 8 conference players. We've had between Duke, Wake, Carolina, and State, we've had 8 in past years.
Yeah.
That's 8 in the entire conference, and the conference is huge now.
Yeah, the conference is enormous. Yeah.
Yeah, it's ugly.
We got 14.
There are several leagues better than the ACC.
Yeah. I look at the Carolina team, man, and the thing that shocks me the most, I guess, is when I go back and I think about the recruitment pros about Caleb Love, how he was a genius in transition, a great decision maker, right? That was his thing, and our offense is predicated on having a point guard. Like, we'll turn the ball over 17 times. That's fine because we'll have the ball way more, right? But this kid does not show that. And dude, I've never seen a player like tucking his shell more than Caleb Love.
Yeah. And
the
times I've seen Carolina, man, they seem like they are pretty much just big.
Yeah.
And their bigs are talented.
Bigs are talented.
Yeah, but you can't get them the ball.
Can't get them the ball. We're not, we played that game against Iowa early, and, there was flashes in the second half, and I was like, well, this team will be okay. As we start playing transition ball, and we were pushing it and pushing it and pushing it and pushing it and pushing it, but I don't trust our decision making at the guard position. They brought the kid Walton into the starting lineup because he's honestly the only dude with confidence to score. But there's something to be said about a guy who wasn't starting, who is starting now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do, man. It's similar for Duke. I think we have 2.5 guys on our roster that can score.
What's the slinky white kid's name?
Hurt.
Hurt.
Yeah.
Hurt's a baller.
Yeah, he can score.
He's a fucking baller.
Yeah, he's got that high release, a lot like Larry
It's a
Bird.
fun-
He's 6'9".
Thank you. It is.
It's a lot like it. First year, last year, I remember saying it like, good grief, man, that looks just like Larry Bird's shot. You know, not saying that he's the shooter Bird is, not what I'm saying, but
no, his release.
But we've got him, and we've got Jalen Johnson, and then the half.
Jalen Johnson's been banged up. For a
Right,
while.
and the half would be DJ Stewart, you know, because he actually can shoot when open, unlike the rest of the guys. But past that, we can't really score. When Duke's looked the best this year, honestly, to me are the minutes that that Williams has been on the floor for us. A 7'1" Mark Williams kid. I don't know what the deal is, if he gets winded or what, but he's averaging over the last 3. He's averaging about 13 minutes, which is way up from what he was averaging before that. It was around 6.5, 7. And those minutes that he's in there, we look great, and it helps us so much. If we could get 20 minutes out of him. First, he guards the other team's biggest guy, meaning that Johnson and Hurt don't have to. Neither one of them. And those are the 2 guys that we need to stay out of foul trouble. You know, and so he just helps us so much. But I don't know how effective he'll be against other guys that are close to his size that are, you know, veteran players like what Carolina has.
Right.
You know, so it'll be I don't know what he'll either play his career high minutes or he'll play very few minutes Saturday.
It's really weird, man, because this is one of the few years that I have no doubt that the ACC will be represented in the Elite Eight. Like, I don't know if we have a team that can compete in the Elite Eight.
No, I don't know. This year, I'm telling you, man, if anybody want to make a bet with me, man, give me Gonzaga and Baylor. I'll give you everybody else.
I would take that. I would definitely take Gonzaga and Baylor, and you get the field.
Yeah.
I would. Gonzaga's a good ball team.
Yeah, Baylor's good, man.
Baylor's good.
They're good.
I mean, Gonzaga, though.
Yeah, they're really good.
They're really good.
They're just so well-rounded, and they got depth, too.
They got depth. They're well-rounded. And they have that cohesion that a lot of teams hadn't been able to build, too.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Well, they got, you know, probably it's definitely the highest recruit they've ever had, that little guard that they've got now. And he's a baller, man. And their size is tremendous, too. I don't think, when thinking about the 2 teams that we pull for, I don't think either one of us stand a chance against Gonzaga.
No.
I mean, I think their guards would dominate us. And in Duke's case, I think they would just straight push us around all over the place because we're not very physical. You guys at least have that. Carolina at least has a positive in that. I guess Duke's positive will be that we do have a kid in Johnson and Hurt. Hurt may even stay. You know, he may not go. That draft I saw today had him going 42nd, which would, you know, be in the second round. Johnson they had going 6th. So I mean, he's probably gonna go. He's probably gonna go. Yeah.
I mean, why stick around for this?
No, right? Why would
this wasn't fun?
No, and we've got kids coming next year. We got a haul next year, so you know it's.
Well, I mean, it's just, again, you know, that's the nature of basketball, and I do hope that the G League really takes off. I really, for the sake of college basketball, really hope that the G League really takes off and give guys who are on that cusp of being one and done can go there, show their talent, and just give a spot to someone who might be a 3-star, right?
Yeah.
And who could potentially have a growth spurt and put on an extra 2 to 5 inches and get the tutelage of a Coach K, a Roy, Larinaga, or any one of the great coaches that are in college basketball, right? And bring this game back to where every year I know my fucking team.
Right. I know at least most of them.
Right.
I remember the feeling of being excited to see freshmen.
Yeah.
You know, and now it's like, well, I'm excited to see the team.
Right.
Because that's all it is.
Don't get too attached.
Right. No, really.
Don't get too attached because it's nothing for one of them to have a freaking hangnail like, you know, game 6 and like, yo, man, I can't even do it.
Yeah, this is it for me. Yeah, it kind of makes you like the kids that do stick around. You know, the only senior that plays much at Duke is Goldwire, and while he still can't shoot a lick.
He's a liability
on offense. He is, but he leads the nation in steals.
Right.
I mean, and that's good. And he doesn't take a lot of real bad shots. He takes good shots. He just doesn't make them. He's just not a shooter. But you gotta shoot some to keep defenses somewhat honest, even if you can't make it. But it kind of, you know, he's a player that I wouldn't have really liked that much years ago. but now in this age where it's like, well, he's a senior. You know, I know who he is. All right.
He's been here.
Right. I can pick him out on the floor.
Right.
You know, so it's become a little more dear to me. But yeah, it's strange times for those teams, man, and probably only get stranger for a little while until they do figure out what they're going to do with the G League and how they're going to settle this one and done. I don't think anybody's real happy with that system. So you know, I think it'll be changing within the next 4 or 5 seasons. If something will happen. You know.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping that takes a precedence and we can just get away from the one and done. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, there's no reason to talk about how many years you have to stay in college. You go to college because you want to play in college. And if you soar, if you outshine your you know what I mean, you didn't go.
Right.
But let's not just make it a stop.
Yeah, there's so
on
many,
the way to the draft.
So many kids just
because it just doesn't really. And I'll tell you a cat that's balling, LaMelo.
Yeah,
LaMelo got me buying Hornets gear right now.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm a LaMelo fan.
Yeah,
and look, I love the way he interviews, man. You can ask him anything. LaMelo, you had your first. You're the youngest guy to put down a triple double. You know, who would you attribute that to? Man, me.
Yeah.
I just ball.
Right.
They was asking him about
Miles Bridges has played really well.
Oh, dude, so like they're trying to come up with a nickname. And the best one that I've heard is Airbnb. I love it. But
Hayward has played well.
Yeah, Hayward is shit. He had a game a few nights ago and hit the game winner. I think he dropped 29, 15 boards and like 7 and 6. Like, yo, he's a baller.
Yeah, he is.
He's a baller, dude.
My boy Zion has continued to do fun things to watch.
Well, Zion is just...
It's fun to watch him do his thing.
There's never been... The jury is always, like, agreed that the dude is as a phenom. The problem is he went to New Orleans.
Yeah. Well, they're a lot of fun to watch right now, and they're not terrible. They've won a couple games lately.
Yeah, but they're in the freaking West.
Yeah.
And, like, yo, they've got just so much to climb. I mean, right now you've got the Clippers, you've got the Lakers, you've got the Jazz, you've got the Nuggets. You know what I mean? And those are... Oh, you still got Portland. You still got Golden State.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, yo, your top 6 can... yo, so... it's just hard to get in right there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It is. It's a lot tougher in that conference.
And honestly, New Orleans, as great of a town as it is to party, has not been a great destination for basketball talent. Everybody seems to flee from there. Chris Paul, AD, you know what I mean? They all seem to like kind of try to get away from there.
Yeah, if they have any sense at all, they will throw the farm at Zion and Brandon Ingram. Well, Ingram's become
Ingram's been balling his ass off.
Oh man, he's doing what I thought he could do coming out of Duke because of those arms, those long ass arms. It's like he can get his mid range jump shot off on anybody anytime. You know, and that's something to say. But the NBA's been pretty fun to watch, though. You know, I've been surprised with how bad Dallas has been.
Yeah.
You know, like, man, when they get Porzingis back, you thought, you know, okay, this is going to be
Porzingis, Luka.
Yeah.
And
my favorite NBA player, Boban.
Yeah.
I love Boban, man. Have you watched any of his videos? Oh, man, he's got some great ones. He's got some, Tobias Harris is his best friend. And they've got some on YouTube. It's Bobby and Toby. And it's them on little adventures and stuff. They go to, like, the island where they filmed Jurassic Park, and they're on, like, four-wheelers riding around. It's hilarious, man. Yeah. And then they got another one, another set called Boban on the Gobon. and he goes to different places. They got him going to the Texas State Fair. You know that giant cowboy that they have? This is the symbol of the Texas State Fair.
Yeah.
They dress him up in those exact clothes, and he's 7'4" or whatever, and he's walking around talking to.
Kind of a.
He looks
complete
like
replica,
yeah, he looks
right?
like he came off the sign.
Right.
Yeah. It's hilarious, man. And people are just little kids are in awe, and then there's a whole bunch of like rednecks and stuff that are just, hey man, you're pretty tall, that kind of stuff. And he's hilarious, man. He's a real funny dude. But yeah, it's hard for me to watch them right now, man, because as good as Luka is, they just are not good at all.
Yeah. Well, but again, though, being in Dallas, right, with a Cuban. You know what I mean? Like, that thing can come together any year. Mm-hmm. Whereas what we've seen in Nolans.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just, listen,
Well, they're not-
I wish the kid nothing but the best.
They're not willing
right?
to bring in another max contract person to play with you.
Right.
It's kind of like I feel about Giannis, that he may waste his whole career there because they're not going to bring a max contract guy in there with
This
him.
is wasting his career.
Yeah.
And the fact, look, I get it, man. Get your money. Get your bread, young fella.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be the first one to tell you, get your dough. But,
I'll
if
tell
you
you, man.
win one in Milwaukee,
Yeah, you're that guy.
yeah, you're an MVP.
You're Kareem. He was
Like,
Alcindor
yes,
when he
yes.
did. But yeah, man. Well, I'll tell you what, man. With a little bit of tweaking on defense only, that's all that needs to happen. And you got a group that hadn't played together much, so that team defense could come together quick, man. Brooklyn's going to be tough to beat.
So if Brooklyn ever figures out how to play any defense,
Right.
Like all they have to do is stop like one out of every 10.
Yeah, 'cause
12
they can
possessions.
flat score.
Dude, they threw up a game the other day. They had a game the other day where they threw up 143 in regulation and lost.
Yeah.
And lost.
Yeah, they've got to pick it up on defense. But that, especially when you've got such isolation players as they do on offense, defense is going to take a lot longer to come together.
Sure.
And you've got to make sure, really, that Harden is interested in playing
Well,
defense.
no doubt. All of them.
Well, yeah.
All of them. Because, out of the three of them, the best defender will be Kyrie.
Yeah.
Right?
On ball, yeah.
However, you got to make sure he doesn't get like any like news outlets channels to his like phone.
You got to cut him off the QAnon sites,
like,
man.
if anybody should get cut off Twitter, it's Kyrie.
Right.
Like, if you're Brooklyn management, cut him off.
Yeah.
Cut him off.
He's one of those
Twitter.
guys that's apt to come into practice and be like, "Did you guys hear that John F. Kennedy Jr. has been at all the Trump rallies?"
See, that's him.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And like
Flat Earth and all
listen,
that.
I
yeah.
think the kid is a genius. He's a smart kid. Look, let's make no mistake. We could make fun of him. We really could.
Yeah.
He's a smart kid because he ain't gonna believe what you telling him. He is the type of cat. Dude, listen. I'm a Tar Heel fan, man. What he went to do? He's a thinker. He could have went to anywhere in the fucking world he wants to. Granted, he didn't play many games at Duke. He still chose to go there because, there is something. There's something there. There's something.
Yeah, he's
between
not
those
a
ears.
dummy.
He's not a dummy.
No.
He's not a dummy.
I sometimes wonder if he just plays one on TV.
I don't know if he. I think he just challenges the media because can you imagine day in day out being asked like just dumbass questions?
Right.
At some point it's annoying and like.
Yeah, it is totally annoying.
From what I understand about the kid, he has a dry sense of humor. So a lot of things that he says, like the world is flat. Come on, nobody thinks that. He knows it's not.
Right.
But he says it because
I think just to get a rise out of
to get a
people.
rise out of people. Because instead of asking me about the game, you want to ask me about practice.
Right.
You wanna
Right.
ask
Yeah.
me, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he just goes off the rail with it. Like this whole past thing, where he went off and spent he's missed 6 games. He's on my fantasy roster. Mm-hmm. And he crushed me. Lost the game behind me.
Yeah.
I knew he was going to come back, but at the end of the day, I respect the young man because he's staying for something.
Yeah.
I respect him because he's staying for something.
Yeah.
And he does.
I waffle between that and sort of hating on him for. I just don't think he's a very good teammate a lot of times. There's a lot of guys counting on you for a lot of stuff too, man. And there's something to be said for that in a team game. But I do agree with you that as a person,
where do we draw the line though? Because we can always scream teammate, But like, yo, and yeah, you got 16 other guys. What I think the NBA roster is comprised of 17 guys,
Something like that.
right? So 16, 17 guys, right? So yeah, they depend on you. However, the management is definitely not on your team because any given moment you can be shipped somewhere else.
Oh, that's true too.
So like it becomes so like then you have to like there's this internal battle like between business and teammanship, right? And it's a delicate balance. Like yo, I don't feel like you owe anybody anything, even your teammates, even the guy you go to war with, because at any given moment, any one of those guys can be gone, and so could you.
Oh yeah, I see that. I just don't think that playing with that attitude could lead to a whole lot of success for people. I think you have to buy in as a team in a lot of ways.
Well,
you know,
you do.
And that's why certain franchises win, certain ones don't, because the franchise that win feel like they have support from the upper management. You know, and I mean, and then you got like the Houston Texans, who aren't. Their team doesn't feel like they have
Houston
support.
the whole fucking city.
Yeah.
Like they just jerked off all. Like you had one
You won the Super Bowl you won the World Series by cheating.
by cheating.
Right.
You've got, without any argument, the best scorer in NBA history. Like, look, you say whatever you want to say about James Harden. He dribbles the ball for 20 seconds and then he shoots it. He fucking hits it. He scores a shit ton of points. You let him down. He wants to get out of town. You've got the best 1-2 punch in football, in my opinion. I mean, Mike Thomas, Drew Brees, great. Yeah, they connected for like 144 last year, right? That was dope, right? However, Deshaun Watson was 25. Mm-hmm. Nuke was what, 20? Was 28?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying, you get those guys a couple more years, dude. I mean, they shattered that record.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you.
And you fucked that up. But I mean, it's odd. I would say, man. So, well, anyway, man, let's shift over to football.
Yeah, man, we got a big game this weekend.
Yeah, who's playing?
I don't know, man. Yeah, Super Bowl, man. I saw a thing the other day. It made me laugh. It was a question posed on television. Which would be more impressive if Pat Mahomes had won 2 Super Bowls by the age of 25, or Tom Brady who would have won 2 Super Bowls after the age of 40? And my initial thought was the person asking this question is under 40, because it's an easy answer. If you're over 40, the answer is Tom Brady. I mean, no doubt. If you know how it feels to be 40 years old, every time he gets hit, I'm just like, oh.
I listen. I had to drive to the courthouse. You know what it took for me to get that?
Right.
I had to prepare for a Super Bowl.
Right. I mean, yeah.
It's definitely more impressive.
Oh,
yeah.
no doubt, man. And we've had some guys, in their mid-20s get 2 Super Bowls. I think Terry Bradshaw was 27. I think Roethlisberger was like 26 when he got his second one. So it's not like it's, never. It's just unheard of,
Well, I mean, honestly, if you think about it, it makes more sense to get them when you're younger. Right?
More than it does in your 40s,
right?
For sure, yeah,
right.
Yeah. The guy's amazing, man. I think we're in for a heck of a game.
I'd love to see him. Actually, I was talking to a buddy of mine, man, and I'd actually love to see him win it. I'm not a Brady fan. So let me clear the air here, man. If you know me, I am not a hater of players or teams. I generally don't hate players or teams. What generally makes me talk shit about a player or team is that player or team's fan. I can't stand a dick rider.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I can't stand. Listen, I've been one, but I've also been very quick to concede. Right? Like I won't ride my point to like the wit's end, like upon like even if you corner me in.
Sure,
like,
I'm always willing to change my opinion when presented with new facts.
Exactly.
Right.
Right. But like, like Dallas fans. I don't hate Dallas. I actually, for when they were winning, I was a big supporter. I was a fan, I would say. I like the triplets. I loved Irvin. I loved 22. I loved Aikman. I liked them. Novacek. They were great to watch. They were good TV. They were America's team. I like good football. That shit was okay with me. We didn't have a team here.
Right.
Didn't hate them.
Right.
However,
Yeah.
I don't fuck with like cats like Jerry.
Nah.
Or me. I love those dudes, right?
Right.
But when it comes to their opinion about their team, it's so jaded.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
like there's no other football that's been played.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and it's been just so long since they were really good.
Right.
Like, so it's been a long time.
Right.
You know, so I mean, it seems crazier every year. You know, they're becoming NC State.
Yes.
You know, this is our year. This is our year.
By the way, that will be the team though that this show will relentlessly pick on, NC State.
It's just the
'Cause
unbelievable optimism
This
each
is our
season. Yeah, this is it, man. And it'll be football and basketball.
Baseball,
Everything.
soccer, women's basketball, dude, they were number 2. They were
This
balling.
might be their year.
This could have,
Right.
This could have been their year, and then they all thought it,
Yeah.
and then they got upset. Same night that UConn did. Mm-hmm. You know.
Yeah.
Against Virginia Tech.
So if you had to make a pick on the Super Bowl, man, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna go outright with the underdog.
So the over under is what, 56 points. Kansas City on the road is a 3-point favorite. This is a home game. Make no mistake about it. There'll be 25,000 fans in the arena. The majority of them will be from Florida, and they will be representing Tom Brady and the Golden Burgundy Brunch. You know, 2000 was the last year. Was it 2000? It's 2000. Last year they hoisted the trophy. Great coaching staff. Bruce Arians. Look, you've been an Arians fan for a minute.
Yeah, man.
I'm talking about back in Arizona. Before we even did this. Like, you were Arians dude.
I like his mind, man.
Byron Leftwich at the OC, you know. Great coordinator. Fucking Todd Bowles. Like, Todd Bowles, yeah, he can't call plays, whatever. The motherfucking could put defenses into position, right? Like, this is a very good Tampa Bay team we're looking at.
Yeah.
Very good team.
They are
very
good.
well coached.
Do you know who I think has to have their eyes big as saucers going into this game? You got to think Jason Pierre-Paul and Shaquille Barrett.
Yeah.
Because I mean, the biggest thing for me that happened leading into this game was in the fourth quarter of the AFC Championship game when the Chiefs' left tackle popped his Achilles.
Yeah.
And you can play without the blind side protector against a team that gets after it on defense. They get after it, man. I think that's going to be your difference. I think that they're going to be able to really rush and pressure Mahomes severely throughout the game. And I know he does play well under pressure. You know, he's able to scramble and make plays. That's part of what he does. But you can also ring his bell. You know what I mean? He's not a guy like Roethlisberger, who, you're just going to have to kill him. You just have to kill him to get him out of it.
Bell run, a week or so ago, right?
Yeah, you can ring his bell, and and those guys are really really stout players. I think that injury at left tackle is going to be a problem for them.
Yeah,
I do, man. And I think my MVP, Super Bowl MVP pick, I think I would take Leonard Fournette.
Really?
I do. I think he's going to run wild.
Well, man, listen, I'm actually going to pick quite the opposite of that. I think the defensive player of the game is going to be one Patty Mahomes, right? Now, my dark horse is going to be that kid Devin White, the linebacker. Dude, he had 9 sacks this year, 1 pick, 97 solo tackles. I mean, snubbed from the Pro Bowl. Thank God he got to the Super one. Right. But this kid, number 45, man, he's a playmaker. We've been watching this kid. If you look, since the last time these two teams meet, great fun fact. Last time these cats met was 7 weeks ago, right? One team is going 6-0, one team is going 7-0 because one team had to play more games in the playoffs, right? Patty Mahomes beat Brady. last time Brady has lost has been to Patty. However, the last time Patty has lost in the playoffs has been to Brady. Mm-hmm. So this is going to be a really good matchup, man, against mine. But this kid, Smith, I was telling you about, if you watch what Tampa Bay has done defensively in the last 4 games, it's been very magnificent. Like, yo, going into that Green Bay game, nobody thought that they could do what they did the first time and get Aaron Rodgers to make so many mistakes. Because he hadn't. Because he was the fucking MVP. Mm-hmm. And that defense did it.
I called that game.
They did it twice.
Yeah, I called that game too. They're nasty, man.
Their defense is nice.
That Vita Vea, that big dude, good Lord. Yeah. I mean, that's like having and you line him up beside Sue.
Yeah,
you know, that's like having Siragusa and
Reginald.
No, it's like having just 2 great, just run stoppers.
I know you're thinking about big boy from the Patriots back in the day.
Wilford,
yeah.
Yeah, but
sorry, man.
But no, that's tough to deal with, man. I think they're going to give Mahomes a hard time.
I mean, listen, and I don't disagree, and that's why the 3 points, man, I actually kind of love for Tampa. Because I think that if Kansas City wins, it'll be by no more than 3 points. I don't feel that Kansas City is a touchdown better. However, when we go to the other side of the ball, because let's not sleep on Chris Jones. Let's not sleep on the other fat dude sitting next to him that like fills in holes. The Honey Badger. Let's not sleep on that defense. They're a good defense too.
They're good.
They're really good. They're good enough to let their offense go out there and get it and keep the game manageable, right? They can play off the emotion of the offense, which I believe if we're gonna compare like those 2 units to 2 units, like I would give Tampa Bay the check in defense, and I would give Kansas City the check in offense. But there's not much separating like the check and not. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because Tampa Bay's defense is sick. They're good too.
I think they're really good.
I just think that they're just going to be able to give so much to the Tampa Bay's defense. All right. So let me ask you this question, Penn, because I'm a little ignorant. Slow down.
Oh no.
All right. Let's talk about the Kansas City backfield. Will they have Clyde?
I believe so.
Okay. Will they have Le'Veon Bell?
I don't know about that. I know about, I think they'll still have Williams, but I don't know about Le'Veon, his availability at all. I haven't seen. I saw where, there's some questionable guys going in. I did see where Antonio Brown practiced in full.
Antonio
today.
Brown is going to play, but listen.
They say that Sammy Watkins and Le'Veon are still limited in practice, and that's the deal with Mike Evans too. If you're a professional, I'd have to be pretty damn limited to not play in the Super Bowl.
This game.
Yeah.
This one.
Yeah.
This one. If you can walk, if you can run.
Yeah.
Those guys will play.
I mean, you
got
to
they do it. And look, listen, let's make no mistake. Like, they're heroes, right? When it comes to that, man, these guys, man, Brett Favre played a Monday night game against Minnesota that Mean will never forgive. When he threw out, 4 touchdowns the day after his dad died?
Yeah, it might have been 5 even. It was
right.
He had a heck of a game.
So, like, they're heroes. I don't want to demasculate any of them, but I feel what you're saying.
Yeah.
If they're healthy, they'll play outside of COVID restrictions.
Yeah, and to me, limited practice is a positive sign. He didn't not practice at all. I mean.
Right. It was limited. Like, that mother was out there and was like, so when you in that motherfucker,
right.
this is what you gonna do.
Right.
Like, yo, and when, the advantage of it is the guys that are limited at practice, like a Le'Veon Bell, has been in the league and had rushing titles. You know what I'm saying? We can explain offenses or offensive strategy to him and defensive sets that they might look at, and he should be able to get it mentally if he's serious about his preparation.
Yeah.
And dude, and this is such a great. This is one of the To me, even though my team's not in here, this is one of my favorite Super Bowls, man, that I'm gonna watch because I really do like Bruce Arians.
Yeah, I do too, man.
And I fucking love Andy Reid.
Me too, man. I'll be happy for either one of them.
Like, I mean, I just be so happy.
I'm gonna be happy either way on this one. You know, as long as we get a good game out of it.
Yeah,
you know?
we will. Oh, we're gonna get one.
I think so, man.
Oh, I think we're gonna win.
One thing that I think could make it really interesting is several times over the last month and a half, Kansas City has been slow out of the gate. You know, and Tampa has not.
No.
They've come out and drubbed people.
If anything, they take their foot off the gas.
Right. And so, but Kansas City is the perfect team built to come back. Yeah. You know, it's big play ready, big play a go over here. You know, Tampa's not built in that way. They have to control the football a little more too. So that therein lies another way that that Kansas City could make it. You know, could make it tough, but. If it does go that way, that Tampa jumps way out and that defense pins their ears back, it could be a long day for the other side. I mean, that's been really interesting to me is watching how this year it was crazy how we had so many teams that started really hot. Started games really hot,
okay.
like Atlanta.
Sure. Atlanta, several.
Minnesota. Mm-hmm. You know, these teams that just started games, just kicking people's ass and then blow it somehow. You know,
take your foot off the gas, man.
Yeah. And so I've watched that a lot, and that is a thing.
A Pharaoh told me once. He said, when you got your neck on a fucking giant, you got your foot on the neck of a giant, you damn well better snap that son bitch.
That's the truth.
I mean, you're not gonna you let a giant get up and be shocked that you lost.
Right. Exactly.
You had it, you know.
Yeah.
And I believe that we've seen a lot of that with a lot of offenses. It's been kind of one of those years, man. They're gonna be a fun Super Bowl, man. I'm excited about it.
I am too, man.
I'm more excited about this Super Bowl than I have been about the last maybe, I don't know, 6, man, going back to when my team was in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Because I do like the storyline. I like the Mahomes.
Well, it's clear, too, that we have lived in a time when we've been lucky enough to watch the whole career of easily the greatest quarterback of all time. And if he wins it, then it's just like, wait. He's not much
let's
better.
Fuck that. Let's talk about that. That's a great point. Does he have to win?
No.
Does he have to win?
No.
He is solidified, right?
Absolutely.
Is there anybody who can, is there any argument you can make for anyone else?
The only argument you can make is Otto Graham. That's it.
Pinhead, baby.
I'm telling you, you have to go back pre-Super Bowl era. That's the only argument you can make, man.
Fucking great. But no, literally, right now, when we talk about the NFL and we speak of the GOAT, you have to say it's Tom Brady. And look, I'm at that point, man. I'll show you the text.
We've got the best franchise of all time and what they've done over the last 20 years in New England. You look, they don't make the playoffs.
Right.
And Tom Brady goes to a team. It's like
they were 7-9 last year.
Right. It's like Tom Brady looked around and was like, picked the teams like, hey, man, y'all want to go to Super Bowl?
Right.
And they're like, yeah. We do, and then now they're there,
Right. Let me call my homie Grump.
Right.
Hey, listen, all we need is a beach and some white girls, and we're going to the Super Bowl.
Right.
And that's what they did, man. That's what they did. And it's fucking beautiful. It's incredible, man. Like, I have no hate in my heart for Tom Brady, man. As a player, as a man, as anything, dude. Let me say this right quick in my
absolutely defense is that from 1947 to 1955, every year Otto Graham was selected to the Pro Bowl. He was first team All-Pro. Well, they only picked one of those, folks. And he was first team All-Pro in 47, 48, 49, 51, 53, 54, and 55. Okay? So, you can make an argument. There's an argument to be had.
Right.
Now, if I'm on a debate team and those are the two names we're pulling out of a hat, I hope to pull Brady. I think you can you can make an easier argument,
Sure.
But I think there's an argument to be had there because Brady's never been first team All-Pro.
What we don't want to do
hardly
is
a consecutive
disrespect
year.
Otto Graham as being one of the greats.
Well, right.
He's
he's never mentioned, and it doesn't make sense.
He's never mentioned.
And it's just because we're young.
Fuck is all those
and everybody basically watching the game now is young. We don't remember him.
What's the LeBron Jordan?
Right.
Like yo, like my kid has fucking Jordans. She's got a shit ton of them.
Right.
She can come out and shock you like, oh, you like these J's. Right. Mike could walk in this motherfucker with a pizza butt naked. She couldn't point him out.
Right.
But she can show you who LeBron is.
Right.
And she'll tell you, even though she'll rather have some Jordans over LeBron's, that LeBron's the greatest player of all time.
Right. Yeah, and and then when you think about that, you got guys that are my dad's age being like, well, Bill Russell, fuck them both up.
Yeah.
And you're like,
they're right
and you're like, well, he's got a bunch of.
Look, if we just look at paper, like that's all we scratch out paper, right? Look, and we look at it and be like, hey, guy, who the fuck is this Bill Russell? Right? Like we don't put any names, times, or nothing. We just look at you be like,
a lot of times
Bill was a bad son.
Right. A lot of times the perception of greatness is skewed toward the recent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, I think greatness too, man, in sports does have there's also a celebrity behind it, right? Like you have to have the magnitude to transcend. Like Jordan had that, right? The tongue, the fucking jump man. You know what I mean? Like Bill Russell, by all means, if we look at it, was the better of the two players during their respective times.
Well, yeah, he was dominant.
Jordan, we say Jordan transitioned the game because Jordan made the game more mainstream.
Right.
Bill Russell went out there and fucking won.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite. That's one of my favorite arguments in sports is Bill Russell or Wilt. Because they play together, and Wilt's numbers are so much greater. Just unbelievable. Dude scored 100 points. He grabbed 50 rebounds in the game. He played his entire career in the NBA as the dominant physical presence and never fouled out of a game. He was, the year after he scored 100, they called him a ball hog. The next year he comes back, leads the league in assists. I mean, Wilt Chamberlain.
Pinhead dropping knowledge on y'all bitches. Let's go.
Hey, Wilt Chamberlain's a great player. So you have people who watched during that time who would argue that Bill Russell wasn't even the greatest player then. I love that argument, though, because it's like, well, how'd he get all them rings during Wilt's career? Right. He got all them rings during Wilt's career.
He got a lot.
Oh, yeah.
He did.
10, I think.
Yeah, it was 10.
Yeah. So, that's just a fun thing to talk about, But I don't think that Brady has to win the Super Bowl. He doesn't. To get to it is another feather in the cap.
7-19.
I didn't think he needed that. Did you? I didn't think he needed that. I think if he went there, it was an abject failure in Tampa and retired. I think he's the greatest that ever played.
Yeah, it wouldn't hurt me. It wouldn't hurt me.
No,
it wouldn't.
He's 43 years old.
It wouldn't have jaded my outlook of him. But with that in mind, the brother said he's gonna play till he's 45. Pinhead, I just turned 42. You just turned what? 46.
7.
This dude wants to play after 45.
Well, you can want to, and then you can.
But dude, based off what he did this year, I didn't think it was gonna break. Look, let's look at the polar opposite. Look at Breeze,
right? And
look at him. Look at Rivers, who's not even. Rivers is what, 39?
Right.
Like, I mean, in Rivers, listen, let's not look. We're gonna get state props on the show. This one time only. The dude had a Hall of Fame career.
Yeah.
Right. Never won shit. Had a whole lot of babies. Never cuss. Probably wasn't a whole lot of fun. You didn't respect. Rivers didn't respect his stardom like I would have. However, he was still nonetheless a great player.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
He couldn't do it.
He can't hold a candle. Right. He can't hold the guy's jockstrap.
This motherfucker this year looked good, dude.
Dude,
he made some throws. He made some throws that were incredible.
2 weeks ago. That throw right before halftime.
Yes.
It was a dime.
Yes, it was a fucking dime, dude.
It was
a dime.
To Scotty Montgomery.
To Scotty fucking Miller.
Whoever,
Scotty Miller,
Who is
10.
that?
I don't know. The motherfucker ran a 340 though in the combine.
He
Scotty
ran it
Miller.
all right there because that was beautiful, man.
It was gorgeous.
Yeah.
Stunning.
Yeah. Just
stunning.
Yeah.
It placed there. I remember looking at that and I said exactly what you just said. Oh, that motherfucker just threw a dime.
It's right on.
I mean, like, yo, you couldn't have handed it off better.
No, it was beautiful. He's fantastic, man, and we're lucky, to be to be healthy
Watching
and
that.
happy and watching that, you know.
Yeah.
So that's I think everybody's in for a whale of a game, man.
But look, then like not to discount his greatness on the other side of the ball, man. We are watching a guy with a coach that we all love. We all love Andy Reid, right?
Well, as much as we've talked about Brady, you know, we're watching a kid in Mahomes who's ahead of that pace,
Right.
which is
And-
unbelievable. Yeah.
And he has a coach very similar to the coach that Brady had when he was coming out, right? Like a guy that was on it right now, right?
Right.
Like I'm on it, like I'm in sync with it. Like
Right.
I can build it. Like, and they're in simpatico, right? And this motherfucker doing shit we ain't never seen.
Right.
He throwing balls from the side, behind,
Ain't
like
no look.
no look.
Right.
And his mama cute in the motherfucker.
Right, I know.
God almighty.
Yeah, it's so hard, you know, that if you can't read the quarterback's eyes because he doesn't look at the pass. Like,
Right.
gee whiz, that makes it tough, you know.
Right.
I did hear a thing, you know, Tom Brady has been in the league, started for 19 seasons. He's going to for 21 seasons, I think he's started, and he's going to his 10th Super Bowl. It makes it a 46% chance that if he starts the year for you, that he goes to the Super Bowl.
Wow.
You know, and you think about 46%.
Yo, think about that.
Yeah, he has a better
There's
chance.
32 fucking teams.
Steph Curry is a 43% free throw or 3-point shooter for his career. So Tom Brady, if he starts a season, he has a better chance to go to the Super Bowl than Steph Curry has to hit a three.
That's fucking nuts.
It's insane, man.
That's nuts. I mean, dude, like, I'm just so excited about this ball game, man. And I'll bring it back to what led this whole thing is. This is, in my opinion, one of the best Super Bowls that we're going to see in a while, man. And I think that the players have come to a point where, like, yeah, they miss the fans, but, like, they have really shown their professionalism. Right, and they've gone out there and they play football. They fall. We've had some fights this year.
Yeah, it's
like
been
it's
good,
been
man.
good It's been good football.
It has.
And like albeit that fan element is missing. They're gonna have 25,000 strong.
Yeah.
That Kansas City is gonna be an away team. Only 25,000 Pinhead.
Yeah. I know.
Only 25. That's like a third.
Yeah. We'll see. It hasn't seemed to make a whole lot of difference this year, you know. We'll see how it goes. I like Tampa. I do, man. I just think they're hot. I think they're the best team I've seen over the last 4 weeks.
You know, what about that Buffalo Kansas City game last week? That thing didn't make you change the channel to see what else was on?
Hell yeah.
I mean, like,
Yeah.
And Buffalo looked really good coming into the playoffs, man. And the road that they had to get there, they stumped on some throats, right?
Yeah. They did.
And Josh Allen was beasting. Motherfucker.
They weren't more impressive though in the championship game than Tampa was. I don't.
Well,
think.
I would agree, but I would think the road up to there. I mean, Cole Beasley played on a broken leg.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm just
Yeah,
saying,
they had a good season, man, no doubt.
I'm playing devil's advocate here. I'm thinking these teams are more evenly weighted than what anybody wants to give them credit for. And with that said, I would always take, just like teams that like you can just bounce back and forth. I always take the under and favorite.
Yeah. It's also hard to repeat in the NFL as champion.
Brady did it.
Brady did.
Brady did.
There ain't been too many people though to do it.
Yeah. So,
Well, so everybody, I hope you enjoy the Super Bowl because it should be a whale of a good time. You won't have a giant party with a bunch of people breathing all over you. Maybe just
I
make
had
you.
COVID, man. It wasn't that bad.
Maybe you just make you some meatballs at home, some weenies or whatever in those crock pots.
Air fry some fucking chicken.
Do that, yeah.
That's what I'm gonna do.
Man, have you seen? I'm a fan of giant monsters. Have you seen the trailer for Godzilla versus King Kong?
No, I haven't.
You haven't seen that? Oh, man, you should see that.
Okay.
Yeah. King Kong. He's huge. He's way too damn big. But when I had a problem with that at first, but apparently they give you a reason for that in the movie. I think it was like that when in the first movie he was like a baby or like a toddler. Or something.
Right, he was still in his infancy.
Right. And so now he's not quite as tall as Godzilla, but and it looks good, man. It's like giant
So
monsters
they're gonna
battling.
rampage the city, basically.
Oh yeah, it shows them coming and colliding and all this, and it's like, I still, man, I'm a big Godzilla guy, and I think the dude shoots nuclear waste out his mouth.
Well, yeah, that's a win.
That's tough on any type of ape, no matter how big. Nuclear waste, man. That stuff. I keep coming back to that.
That's a fair fact,
Yeah,
man.
I think Godzilla could, or Kong is probably smarter, craftier.
Right.
But he doesn't.
But the first time,
Yeah.
he spits nuclear waste.
Then what?
Yeah.
Right. So you might. So check that out.
Yeah.
Have you been watching anything good?
Oh, dude, I've watched so much good, man. Yellowstone. Have you seen Yellowstone?
No.
Oh, Yellowstone is great. It's got Kevin Costner. He's a rancher, and
Oh yeah, I heard about it. I haven't seen it.
y'all, it's great.
I know what you're talking about.
Oh, it's great.
Okay.
Oh, it's great. It's American.
Right.
You know, American.
America.
You know. What else have I watched that was great? The 100. The 100 was on CW, which is a channel you can get free without cable, and nobody respects.
Right.
The only time I see CW is when it pops up on like Netflix or HBO Max. Like nobody respects the CW, but they actually really hit out the park with the 100.
Well, they've got a pretty big following of DC Comics fans because they've got all those shows. They got
Batgirl,
Supergirl, Flash, Legends of Tomorrow. They've got So I know that they're some of those shows are pretty popular. They've been going for quite a few years.
Yeah. Well, the 100 was on there, and I ain't respect
I'll
it.
check that out.
That was pretty good. Here recently, I've been watching The Ranch. It's on Netflix.
How about the thing that you and I talked about on the phone that people should watch, the recap of 2020
Oh my god!
on Netflix with
great
Samuel Jackson?
Oh my god! The best show last year was the show that popped up on the news channel. It was called America. It was what she say? It was mental.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's mental. And then it ended with a game show, weird game show, which everybody voted, but nobody won.
Right. That's a funny show. You guys should watch it, man. I forget. Do you remember what it was actually called? It was
The year in 20.
yeah, it's like the year that was 2020 or something like that, man. You'll
Leslie
see it.
Jones,
If you just search
Samuel L.
2020,
Jackson,
you'll probably
Hugh
find
Grant.
it. Hugh Grant's real funny in
dude,
it.
there's so many. Lisa Kudrow. There's so many A-list actors in that, man. It was really good, dude.
Yeah, it was funny,
Really
man.
good.
I laughed a good bit at that.
What about you? You seen anything worthwhile?
No, not really. We've been watching. I'm such a nerd, man, but I like documentaries. I like to learn something while I'm watching. So I've been watching the best of. You have to type in on YouTube the best of, or else you'll go through a lot of stuff. But the best of Antiques Roadshow. Do you know that from PBS?
Yeah,
Where they set
I
up
remember
at
that show.
they set up at like the Greensboro Coliseum, and people, they have experts on everything, and you bring something you think might be valuable. And so I've been watching a bunch of those because I learned a lot about. I mean, stuff. I mean, whatever. I know a little bit about pottery now. Not a lot, but I mean, people bring in pots and they start talking about what to look for and this and that, and it's like, well, okay, I'll make a mental note in case I see a thing like that. I don't know. I just feel like I'm learning something watching that.
There's nothing wrong with learning.
Yeah, I try to.
man,
That's
it's
pretty
fun
much all I
fucking
watch. Is I don't watch very many things that are made up. I'll get on a run if something comes out. Like I did enjoy The Boys, a lot and stuff like that. But I don't watch a whole lot of non, true life stuff. I end up watching Antiques Roadshow, and I watched all the appearances of Jack Hanna on David Letterman. You remember when he would bring the animals in?
Yeah.
So I watched all that. I don't know, just stuff like that, man. It's been okay though. We've been enjoying our couch time together. We don't bite each other's head off or
about
anything.
everything that you just said, though. So, like, I talk a lot to people because that's what the fuck I do, man. My life's the worst because I have to talk to people. But, like, everyone is just trying to figure out what they're doing about their connection, right? Like, am I going to plug into the matrix? Am I going to go cable? Am I going to unhook the plug? But even a lot of people that, like, disconnect from, like, the cable, right? They still go back into, like, streaming services that just amplify what we're watching on cable TV, right? Right.
Yeah.
Right. So like, yo, there's something sweet to be said about like following a rabbit hole and going down and learning something about what the fuck. Like, yo, use your entertainment time to learn something.
Yeah, I do
Because
that.
there's a ton. And Lou, you're not even streaming shit right now.
No,
Like, yo, my brother hit me up, man, like a couple weeks and was like, yo, where can I watch the game? And like what I would have said to anybody but you was like TV.
Right,
But
right.
I shot you a link.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Because like I know like yo, you're just so unplugged.
Yeah, I am,
But
man.
you're super entertained.
Yeah, I am, man. I've been able to catch up with. I've watched almost all of the recaps of NBA games. You know, they're like 12 minutes or
Yeah.
less. You know, and those are cool. I look forward to those every day when I get up and like, well, what
Yeah.
happened? Because I don't know what happened in those
That's actually
games.
almost better than watching the game.
It's all right with me.
It's better than watching
Yeah.
12 minutes versus a couple hours.
Yeah.
Who has a couple hours?
Right. The only thing is, it doesn't give you a great idea of whether a guy is playing well or not, because like all it shows is the buckets that go in.
Well, listen.
You know,
if he
so I
wanted
don't
to be on your fantasy roster.
Right.
You better play good in 12 minutes.
Right. That hit me. That hit me one night when I was watching, because it was like, I forget who it was. I think it was the kid, Robinson kid from the Heat, that doesn't do anything, can't do anything but shoot threes. A big white kid and goofy. But he hit like 4 threes, 4 or 5 in this one recap that I was watching. Like, damn, he had a great game. But then it was like, well, I don't know. What if he shot 30? When he only hit 5, he had a terrible game. So it doesn't give you a real good idea of that.
You don't get the full representation.
No, but you do get.
But you check the stat line. Look,
Yeah, you can see the highlights and everything.
right.
It's effective. You know, I
Yeah.
watched that and different little things like that, man. A lot of
Did
still.
you watch Conor McGregor get knocked the fuck out a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, it was crazy, man. I had a free entry on FanDuel into that, and so I asked my buddy who knows a lot about MMA, and I said, where are the best upsets? Because when you had your salary cap, you know, you got to pick some upsets. And he was talking about how the girls were real unpredictable and this and that. And I picked 2 upsets with the girls and all kind of stuff, and everyone, we had to pick 9 fighters, and everyone that I had picked won their fight. And I'm going into, and I have McGregor. And I'm going into the final.
And he got his ass
He
whooped.
gets beat down. And all the people that had the other guy just leapfrogged the hell out of me. I finished way out of money. At one point, I was way the hell up there, man. And the only person I knew out of the whole thing was McGregor.
Right.
I'd never heard of any of the rest
You
of
picked
them.
him. Well-
But it was fun to watch follow on my FanDuel.
Right.
It's like, all right, knockout or third round
Right.
decision. Sweet. And just guys scoring tons of points. I'm in the top, 100 out of, I think it was 30,000 or some shit. You know?
Yeah, man. Obviously, I know you remember freaking stats. So I had messaged him back when Tyson fought Jones. I was down in Florida, drunk, hanging out with the girls, whatever, watching dolphins and shit. You know what I mean? I'm a big fan of dolphins. My girls will tell you, when I see a dolphin, I turn into a 10-year-old.
No, I like dolphins,
I'd be
man.
like, oh.
Yeah, there's
But
something.
anyway, so he had shot me a link to see that fight. So the McGregor fight comes on a couple weeks ago. I'm in I come from my bed Saturday night because this is what I do at that time. Like it came on like 12:30. What the fuck am I gonna do? It's COVID time.
Right.
Where am I gonna go? But I watched it on my phone. It came through great. We paid a lick for it. Streamed it on my phone, but that boy got his ass whooped.
Yeah.
But I thought it was fitting that he got his ass whooped and he didn't make a spectacle before the fight, right? Mm-hmm. So it was always kind of like he went in knowing, but they're gonna fight again in March,
Well, of course.
and like that's where the money gonna be made.
Yeah.
That's where the money's gonna be made. So if you're into fighting and shit, like I watched that fight. I don't know. I think McGregor could have easily have won it had he not got kicked in the fucking shin 9 times in like a minute and a half.
That'd take a lot out of you.
But
Anyway,
man, I'm just speculating. Man. Well,
I'm gonna have to go get me a cheeseburger, man. I'm starving.
what kind of cheeseburger?
I guess I'm gonna go to Wendy's.
Hey, listen, you heard it here first, man. The Pinhead is starving, man. So, and we did this thing for 100 Honey. We did this thing for an hour and 17 minutes tonight, so not too bad.
No,
man.
let's hope everybody
That's pretty
enjoyed
fun.
it. I enjoyed it.
It's been a long time, brother.
Yeah, it has,
hey,
man.
Good to see you.
Yeah,
man.
good to see you too, man. Let's we'll try to do a season-ending recap.
We'll do something, man. We need to be more consistent, man. But look, download it, share it, whatever, man. It's great to hang out with my brother Pinhead, man. Everybody
Good
enjoy the
time.
Super Bowl this weekend. Pinhead's got Tampa Bay. I've got KC. I'm going to take KC in the points. Pinhead likes the over as well. So go out there, make some money, have fun, love each other. Don't catch the COVID. Be safe. Peace.
Cheers.